Resilience. Today I want to talk about how to build your resistance so you can bounce back better from troubled times. Anyone going through some troubled times this year? It has not been easy. And maybe you used to be like a super resilient person, used to be able to bounce back from anything, but this year has challenged your every last bit of patience, and I get it. So today I just want to talk about a few practices you can do to help build your resistance, help you get through some of the difficult times we're going through right now so you can be in a better place. For those of you I don't know, I'm Kelly Page, certified transformational health and nutrition coach, and I help people feel lighter in their mind and body. And resilience is a great way to feel lighter in your mind and body. So let's talk about how we can build it. The first thing you want to do, which may sound a little counterintuitive, is to feel your feelings, feel the yuck, feel the hurt, feel the pain, feel whatever difficult emotions you're experiencing. I know, it sucks, right? So often we're in such a hurry to get through the emotions. I don't want to feel this, I don't want this, and we push it down, we deflect, we cover our ears, we look elsewhere, but then it pops up again. Sadly, I wish that made the pain go away. I wish, but it'll come up in a different form. They say the universe sends you your lesson until you learn it. Yeah, so we are all learning a ton of stuff this year. So if you want to get through a difficult emotion, you need to go right through it, because what we resist persists. So until we dig into that emotion that hurts, it's gonna keep coming up. So sit with it, process it, find the root cause, because that will help you get through it so much faster and better. Okay, you're gonna sit with it. And that leads me to number 2 is knowing your triggers. When you sit with the difficult emotion, you'll often start to see a pattern of the things that trigger you. There's a lot of things that are probably triggering right now, but there's usually a pattern. Is it you get triggered every time someone tells you what to do, or does something that you don't agree with, or it's something with your health or your diet? Know your triggers. Like, for instance, in-laws. Anyone have those? And you just get triggered with whatever they say or whatever they do. Know that they're coming. You see your in-law coming, you're like, yep, this is a trigger of mine. I'm not in a great place. What am I gonna do? Have a couple things at the ready. I have a few things I like to do. One is just stop and take a deep breath. It centers me. It takes me out of that fight or flight, because you know how sometimes you just see something, see someone, you're like, oh, that person always gets me. Taking a deep breath just grounds me in the moment. I'm like, okay, this is a trigger. Let's see how I can handle it. So take a deep breath. You might just say something like, hey, you know what? I do not feel like talking politics. I am so politicked out and I have a little moratorium right now. So things like that, when you know your trigger, help protect you, help keep you safe, help keep you balanced, and help keep that resilience in place. So feel your feelings, know your triggers, and then you can prepare and protect yourself for what comes next. And then I like to say, to build your resilience, reflect. Think back into a time that was difficult for you as well, something that you had to get through. Maybe you had to move, maybe you lost a job, maybe a relationship ended, or maybe it was the trifecta of all three. You ever had all three happen at one time? Think about a time you got through that was really difficult. What did you do? How did you get through it? Now, it doesn't really matter the specifics in it, because you may or may not need to apply that to your current situation, but know that you got through it. You did get through it. There have been hard times, and you're still here to tell. So know that you have that resilience. That resilience is already in you because you're here, you're listening, right? So just tap into that. Don't forget that. Another thing I like to do when I'm having a tough time and need help bouncing back is just connecting with someone else, calling a friend, taking a walk, and whether I'm talking out the problem or listening to them and hearing what they're going through, that helps me get out of my head and like, why am I so wrapped up? I think a lot of us, when we get really stressed and really anxious, some of us like to isolate and go within and like, you know what, I'm just gonna hibernate till this is over. And if you've been hibernating all year, I'm gonna tell you, you need to connect. You need to connect with other people. It will help. It will help you feel not so alone. And if you don't have a reliable, sympathetic ear, someone that can listen to you, understand you, and maybe not to give you advice, you know, some people just wanna tell you how to fix things, which is great if that's what you're looking for. Sometimes you just want to be heard. You could hire a trained professional if you don't have someone that fits that need. Trained professional is unbiased and they can help you work through any issues you might be having. I love working with women to get them feeling balanced and standing in their power to live a life they love in a body that makes them feel confident. So connect with someone, whether it's a friend, a family member, a loved one, a trained professional. All of this is going to help you feel better balanced and centered in your body. Next up, build resilience by finding joy. I know joy's been in a little bit of short demand this year, but we fixate on the negative. There's been a lot of negative to fixate on, but when we fixate on it, we find it. When we think about it all the time, we go and we look for it and we find it, and we keep finding things to prove our negative mindset true. Like, oh, see, nothing's going right. See, this happened again. See, this happened again. Your mind wants to prove you right. So instead of continuing to find negative things for your mind to prove you right, you gotta look for the positive. You got to go cultivate the joy. And yeah, sometimes you need to go create it. You need to find it. You need to create it. I always think it's so interesting how hard we work at our jobs, how hard we work at things we don't even like that much. But when it comes to cultivating joy or doing things we love, we don't put it on the schedule. We don't prioritize it. We're not like, come what may, I'm gonna go do this. So I'm giving you permission to go do something fun for yourself. You have to. It is imperative for your health. Doctor's orders. Do stuff that lights you up. Grab a friend, go in nature, go sing, go dance, go garden, whatever it is that lights you up. Only you know what that is. Maybe it's go petting animals. They've said that petting animals is so good for your health. It can lower your heart rate. So make sure you take time to take care of yourself. The other thing that I think is really important for resilience and bouncing back from difficult situations is being flexible. And my type A perfectionist, and that's me, it's hard for us. We like things to run a certain way. We like to schedule, we like to plan, we like people to act a certain way, we like things to flow in a certain order. Yeah, how about this year? We're not having much luck with any of that. So this year's taught me nothing. It's just to be flexible. Things aren't going to run like I think. People are not gonna act like you want them to, like you are. And it's hard, but the more flexible we can be, the easier things are going to be for us. It's just that frustration of this isn't happening the way I expected. People aren't acting the way I expected. That's when we get angry. That's when we get frustrated. So see if you can be a little more flexible and loosen things up a little bit. Release some of that control so you can enjoy life more as it's naturally unfolding. And another key to bouncing back and just feeling a little more resilient in these troubled times is self-care. You've heard of self-care. Are you doing self-care? Imagine a child or a loved one was sick. Would you yell at them to be more productive and you really should get this stuff done? No, you'd feed them chicken noodle soup and you'd tell them to take care of themselves and you'd put a blanket on them, you'd tell them to rest. You need to tell yourself to do that sometimes. We've got to stay strong during this time, and how we do that is by saying no to some things, or maybe just blocking off time, and this is time for quiet, for reading, for journaling, for taking a bath. You just got to be gentle and nourish yourself so you can repair and you can heal. One of my favorite ways to develop resilience and balance in troubled times is by meditating. Meditation has been a huge help for me. It just helps you get out of your mind. It's a quieting of the mind. And all you're doing is resting your attention on the breath. You're going to have thoughts, and then you're going to come back to the breath. You're going to have thoughts, you come back to the breath. And you're just developing this muscle that keeps you coming back to your breath, so that soon it's a little more natural, and then you can apply this in your everyday life. When someone triggers you, for me, it just gives me this pause to respond, to breathe, as opposed to the knee-jerk reaction that we can have to people. Meditation provides that space in my head, space to react, space in my heart, space to breathe. I think it's huge, and it's scientifically proven to reduce stress and anxiety, and it can also increase your focus and your memory. It's free. You can do it at home. You can do it anytime you want. I'm a huge fan of meditation. Another thing I would say, if you're looking to increase your resilience and bounce back time, is to look forward. And this isn't something I always say. I do like to be in the present, but we've had a year. We've had to cancel a lot of our plans. And so it's nice to have something on the calendar. It's nice to have something to look forward to. And yeah, those probably aren't, global trips around the world right now, but that doesn't mean you can't plan something. It can be a trip to a hiking spot in your neighborhood, or it's just going somewhere else. Maybe you meet up socially distant with a few friends. Maybe it's a Zoom call. Put a few things on your calendar to look forward to. It also helps the time, helps you know what the date is. You don't ever forget the date. So think about the future. We're not going to be in this forever. We're really not. Next year is going to be even better. If we got through this year, imagine what next year is going to be like. So hopefully you can practice a few of these different ideas I've given you today to help you be a little more resilient and bounce back after some troubling times. And I've got more info in the article in the post below, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. Bye.